sounds simple, a series about two people.
Well, he never fails to make me smile.
She's great wife.
Each with wildly different characters, backgrounds,
I love fish head curry. Family loves fish head curry. Do you like it now?
and even nationalities.
It's very difficult for me to actually sum up the courage to actually go to Russia to meet her.
We decided to talk on the phone. We actually ended up talking for about 7 hours.
One Singaporean and the other's not. Both united by one common thing: love.
I'm married to a Singaporean.
That's right.
One's a small-town girl from Australia with big dreams.
I really wanted to see what more there was in the world.
The other is an adventurous boy from a small city-state.
Instead of being very American and say, yo, what up, man? I like to say, g'day, mate. How's it going,
This is truly a meeting of two free-spirited souls. They traveled the world, met in Singapore, and fell in love. After a few hiccups, of course.
I'm Warren.
And I'm Christy, and I'm married a Singaporean.
Warren is an account manager in a PR firm in Singapore. He enjoys cooking in his spare time and would go out of his way to make his guests comfortable at home. The Australian Christy heads the language department in an international school. Having traveled and lived extensively around Asia, she speaks English, Thai, Vietnamese, and even Bahasa Indonesia. She is very fussy about food, though. Warren and Christy are now proud parents of a 4-year-old girl called Mimi. Christy is no stranger to the sights and sounds of Singapore, though. She has been coming here for holidays ever since she was still a kid.
You guys used to stay at the Mandarin, which was...
The Oriental.
The Mandarin Oriental, that one there.
Yeah.
Right? That's so long ago, though.
I know.
How old were you?
Back in the 80s.
In the 80s. Did you have the 80s hairstyle?
Having spent a good part of their lives overseas, both Warren and Christy have always led independent lives.
I grew up about 2 hours south of Sydney. My brother and I would surf most days. We'd surf till it was dark, and then we'd go out on our bicycles, and I really don't think Mum and Dad really knew where we were half the time.
I spent a good 6 years in primary school overseas. I spent 3 years in Penang, another 3 years in Germany. Came back to Singapore, did my secondary school here.
We travelled quite a lot, particularly for someone coming from a small town in Australia.
Decided I wanted to try studying in Canada. Spent probably close to a year before I came back. That's basically my life overseas.
Their drive to learn about other cultures was inspired by the need to venture out from the familiar. For this couple, it is quite an ironic coincidence. Two remarkably independent people who met, fell in love, and decided to be lifelong companions. How did they end up together? This is their story.
I just wanted to get away from Singapore and try studying, and some of my friends went to Canada and they said it was pretty good because you got to go to Hawaii, and I thought, oh, Hawaii would be really cool to go to.
I just wanted to get out. I really wanted to see what more there was in the world.
I learned how to be independent, wash your own clothes, go to the laundromat in minus 10-degree winter.
I just found every trip we went on was fascinating, and I was learning things that I could never learn if I was growing up in the same place.
Being overseas, you socialize with different people from different backgrounds, from different cultures, and that has really helped me a lot.
And I think that probably compelled me to want to explore further. Staying in that environment would drive me crazy.
After having spent 6 years living abroad, she came across an opportunity to come to Singapore. It was a turning point for this adventurous girl.
My father had sent me a job advertisement that he'd cut out of the paper that was for a teaching position at the Australian school here in Singapore. And in his note, he put, "Get yourself a real job," because he was tired of not knowing where I was, what I was doing, who I was with. I think they found that really stressful.
Having accepted the teaching position, it did not take long for Christy to get accustomed to the island. She began to realize that perhaps the Lion City was not so bad after all.
I can't say that it's something tangible about Singapore. Whenever we go away, we can stay in the most beautiful places and travel the world. But when I come back to Singapore, I just start to breathe again. I breathe a sigh of relief. The people, it's buzzing, it's multicultural, it's East and West together, and I think that's why I feel so comfortable here, because I'm Western, but I have a lot of Asian influences in my life, and I feel the most comfortable here, and I think that's why. I had a great bunch of friends to party with. We were all very similar. Our experiences internationally were very similar, so we clicked straight away. So I was absolutely enjoying my time. My singleness, I've got a great job, I'm in the city I love. It was fantastic.
And it was at one of those parties that she chanced upon the suave-looking Warren. It was not exactly love at first sight for the both of them.
I was out with the boys, hanging out by the bar, and the boys turned around, they saw this chick with a backless, this blonde chick with a backless number walking out, being escorted out with another hot Ang Mo girl,
It was about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and the lights had just come on, one of those really horrible times of the night when you see what everyone really looks like. So we were leaving and just helping her out.
So I saw the girl helping her out, and I smiled at her, and she gave me the filthiest look. She went,
I was so not interested in getting involved with anybody.
After spending 8 months in Singapore, this Australian lady was not about to be easily charmed by a cool Singaporean man.
What I noticed about him the most were his shiny Italian leather-soled shoes.
How did these two free-spirited individuals finally get together? The Australian Christy came to Singapore after having travelled the world. The Singaporean Warren finally decided to come back to the island after studying overseas. These two party animals met in a club, but it wasn't love at first sight.
and I smiled at her, and she gave me the filthiest look.
I was so not interested.
It wasn't until the following week when I went back, and this time I was alone, hanging out at the bar again, and there she was standing, right next to me. So I smiled at her, and this time around she smiled, and I said, "Oh, so, being a bit more friendly this week, eh?"
He was quite a suave-looking character, very much the player. He had on these black dress pants. He had on a red short-sleeve linen British India shirt, and at that time his hair was quite long and he had it completely slicked back till it was hard with gel. Like it wouldn't move. It was like a helmet. He had an earring in his ear and he looked like a real player to me.
We talked for quite a bit and had a few laughs and exchanged numbers.
But what I noticed about him the most were his shiny Italian leather-soled shoes.
The Singaporean charm won the Australian over, and their relationship blossomed. Being a good cook, it was natural for the charming Warren to show off his prowess in the kitchen to Christy. This, however, proved to be a little bit of a challenge.
With Christy, it's quite difficult because she doesn't eat a lot of things. She's vegetarian, but she loves seafood. so she's not a strict vegetarian. And I don't know why she doesn't like, things that we would enjoy.
As with some of the foreigners in this series, Christy has a bit of trouble adapting to the local cuisine.
I wouldn't actually go and sit in a hawker centre and eat. And I feel sorry for Warren because usually he gets deprived of the food that he loves and going out and having, fish head curry, bakute or whatever it is that he wants to eat. So I feel really sorry for him.
She can spot things in a bowl of noodles and pick the things that she doesn't like. I've never seen someone do that, before she starts eating.
Christy found it difficult to forget the familiar flavors of Australia.
It's so different. I suppose it's more al fresco dining, particularly in Sydney. So I do miss that a little bit, especially, beachside. It's really cash. It's part of the culture. It's very different here, so I do miss that.
Strangely enough, there was one exception.
There is one thing though that she really loves, and that's chili crab. So I think probably in a month we probably have about chili crab maybe 4 to 6 times in a month because she really enjoys chili crab. That's the only local dish that she really enjoys. So Chrissy loves prawns. She loves the seafood, but the only thing is she doesn't like them with the head on. It's a tiring process. The wife's happy, everything's good. So we try and keep her happy.
The Singaporean man persisted. Perhaps these two independent individuals finally decided that it was time to find companionship and settle down. They say that love is a compromise after all.
So I'm very lucky that he doesn't mind so much.
And I know what she likes and what she enjoys, and she enjoys my home-cooked food anyway. So yeah.
He's a fantastic chef.
No, not a chef, just a cook. Just a cook.
You're a chef to me.
Yeah. It's lovely.
It was time for Warren to take their relationship to the next level. He wanted her to meet his family over a meal. But just like their first meeting, this simple gathering took a turn for the unexpected.
So the first time my parents met Chrissy was really funny. Mom had a Sunday lunch. She prepared steamboat. She said, okay, invite this new girl, this new woman in your life to the house. And I said, okay, Mom, sure.
And I was very, very nervous because I knew that Warren had had a lot of girlfriends, so we'd probably taken a lot of girls home. And I didn't want to be thought of as just another one.
I said, but be very careful because Christy, she teaches Indonesian, so she understands Bahasa, and she does understand a bit of Malay, right? I mean, she understands Malay, it's almost... And she also speaks Thai because she lives in Thailand. And my mom can speak a bit of Kampung Malay, and likewise she can speak a bit of Thai.
It was very welcoming and it was a very homely feeling, and I felt really, really comfortable.
And we started lunch and it was steamboat, and Christy being Christy, who's a bit fussy with food.
She'd really gone to a lot of trouble for me, and I felt very, very bad that I wasn't really sure that Warren had told his mum exactly what I eat and what I don't eat.
Mom's offering her this and she said, no, thank you. Offering her that, she's going, no, thank you.
I was watching it being thrown into the steamboat, lots and lots of meat. And it was going to be very, very hard for me to say, I'm sorry, no, thank you. So after about the 3rd time, I said, sorry, it's okay, thank you.
And then she turns to me, my mom turns to me and she says, alamak ni, banyak susah.
I thought it was funny. I didn't take it in a negative way at all because I totally agreed with her.
And then she says, oh, yeah, sorry. And then she turns to me and she says something else in Thai. I said, Mom, she also understands what you just said.
Maybe that's what was going to make me different to the other girls that Warren had brought home before, that I was going to be memorable, maybe not for the right reasons, but I was different. There wasn't a moment where I thought, oh my gosh, this isn't going so well. I actually fell asleep at their place that afternoon after lunch.
Remember when you decided that you wanted to spend your life with someone? What sparked it? For Christy, this was a turning point. Now Warren faced another challenge. He was ready to pop the question.
The night he proposed, we went for dinner, beautiful little restaurant, very intimate. I'm thinking, what's wrong with him?
So I planned this evening and I thought, okay, I'll take her to a restaurant And maybe, you know, in the candlelight, I'll propose to her at the restaurant. For some reason, the vibe in the restaurant wasn't so good that night. First thing though, I had this huge box in my pocket, which looked really awkward. It looked like I had this big bulge in my pants, which wasn't right. I was walking around with this thing, so I was pretty nervous walking around with, you know, a ring that cost me quite a bit of money. So this restaurant, the atmosphere wasn't great. So I thought, okay, never mind. Maybe from here, that's probably why Christy thought I wasn't concentrating on dinner, because I was thinking of what should I do now. So I suggested that, I said, let's go an afternoon, why don't we go for a walk on the beach? And Christy says, no, I'm not walking the beach with these heels on. And she says, can we go home? I thought, oh.
So we went back to our apartment and came in. I was taking my shoes off. I was sitting on the couch.
I sort of switched the lights, you know, made it as nice and romantic as I could possibly.
And the next thing, he's down on one knee next to me.
And pulling out this big box with the ring.
And I just said, no! He was quite a suave-looking character.
One is from Singapore, the other is from Australia. Warren and Christie's story is an unlikely tale of two independent, well-traveled individuals who found companionship in each other in this small city-state, sometimes in the most unexpected circumstances.
And pulling out this big box with the ring.
And I just said, no! What are you doing?
I'm thinking, I haven't even asked, and you're already saying no. But anyway, I did, you know, I proposed to her, and she still never said yes. So I'm still waiting for her to tell me yes, even though we've been married for four or 5 years now. Yeah. Isn't that right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So that's what happened. So am I going to get a yes any day, anytime soon?
She finally said yes on the altar. In 2005, the Singaporean Warren and the Australian Christy tied the knot in a small wedding ceremony down under. Falling in love was perhaps the easy part. As with almost every episode on this series, marriage did not turn out to be a bed of roses for this young couple. Both of them now had to adapt to each other, and one of those problems started from something not many would think twice about.
So a couple of months ago, our big plasma TV died on us, and my father-in-law was in town, said, come on, we need to go buy a new TV. So we get there, and we're both being men, gotta get the biggest TV. Almost about to buy the TV, but as we all do, call the wife. This is the TV. She goes, why do you need a 42-inch TV?
Size does not matter, my love.
Okay, I'm not gonna say anything more than that. There's not enough space in the house. It's gonna be too big. The distance is not, you know. No, you get the smaller one, get the 32-inch. So two of us ended up buying this 32-inch TV, and we come home and go, yep, here's your 32-inch, but we really wanted the 42-inch TV. My 32-inch TV.
I know, it's fantastic, isn't it?
It's too small.
There is no way a 42-inch TV would be practical in this space, my love. It's too narrow. There's supposed to be a certain amount of distance.
But look how bare the wall looks. It needs to be 42.
Well, that's because it's supposed to be mounted on the wall.
Right. And I'm supposed to get that done.
You keep promising me it's going to be wall mounted.
Yeah, I gotta find the time to do it.
This difference in taste between the local and the foreigner did not end here.
I gave up riding for a couple of years, and I thought, it's time I buy myself a motorbike. And I went looking, and I found a scooter, and I thought, you know, it's affordable. It was something like $6,000.
You were just about to buy
Yeah, I was about to make the purchase.
And I said, what are you doing?
She knew deep down inside I wanted to buy myself a big bike.
Well, it was a waste of money to buy something that he didn't feel passionate about.
You know, so all these Harleys I like, and she knew I really wanted one.
So he may as well buy something that he has wanted and loved.
Then I ended up getting the Harley instead of the scooter, which has been a great purchase since. And, you know, I love my Harley.
Marriage is a compromise. That phrase holds even more meaning for Warren and Christy. Over time, these two independent souls learned to live with each other. Unlike some of our other episodes, this isn't just the romantic tale of a foreigner marrying a Singaporean and adapting to his or her culture. Having learned a fair number of Asian languages during her travels, the Australian Christy is perhaps as close to being a full-fledged Singaporean as any one of us.
Wah, hebat. Terima kasih ya.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Minta berapa? 6 goreng pisang. Terima kasih ya. Wah.
But this Australian lady and Singaporean man used to find it a little difficult trying to blend in, even in a multiracial society like Singapore.
I understand that you may not see as many Angmo women with, a Chinese man than, it's usually the other way around, so that's fine. If people want to look, they can look. I think we used to get more when I was blonde.
Yeah.
When I was really blonde, we used to get stared at
Yeah.
a lot more, but now I tend to blend in a bit.
Look at that.
Oh, that's cool.
So this is the new Yansai market, huh? That for school?
Yeah, for the kids,
For the kids?
the boys.
Yes. Because you always
We
got ones
never-
for girls, is that
Yeah,
right?
we need some for the lads.
Do you have enough? You got money here.
Boleh lihat dulu ya? Boleh? Ya, itu cocok ya. Warung keluarga. Hebat.
The thing that really attracted me about Christy was she was super intelligent.
What I love most about my husband is that he's really hot.
She is a very supportive wife in whatever I decide to do.
He would take me out on his motorbike and we'd just explore and do silly things and it was just fun. It was just good fun.
And I think that's what makes our relationship very strong as well. And that's what I love about her and occasionally the few kisses and hugs I get, but yeah.
One's from Singapore, the other's from Australia. It's been a story of two adventurous souls who have traveled the world and eventually crossed paths in Singapore. Not after a few mishaps and unlikely events during their courtship and marriage, however. Having a family does not mark the end of their zeal for life. It is the beginning of an entirely new journey. And after all that they have been through, who knows what they will encounter next?